run.
Yeah.
It's time for the
Probably see it
insane,
again.
the honest, and the profane with your hosts, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. Doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs.
Woo!
Oh, my guy, Ryan Fitzgibbons. Fitzy, what a week in Chicago. What a week for the Cubs. What a week for college basketball. We had some upsets.
In Illinois?
You have Illinois going to the Final Four. Great. Can't wait.
We're
Anyway.
gonna talk about your fandom a little bit in NCAA basketball. It doesn't make much sense. But
I'm just not
a huge Illinois fan myself.
Yeah.
Not a huge college fan. I'm more pro sports, but
yeah.
But I mean, definitely a decently fun team to watch. A very Midwest type team. Very good defense. But fun game to watch yesterday. Lower scoring game, but still fun. Not a very low scoring game for a college basketball game, but low scoring game, fun game. Iowa State in it. Was ahead in the first half for certain points by a decent amount of points, but yeah, Illinois got a pretty good team, man. I mean, Illinois basketball is officially back. Keaton Wagler, talking top 10 pick for him. I'm not surprised. It's his release, I think, on his long shots. You have a quick release and you can move around a little bit with the ball. You're probably going to be in the top 10 now in college basketball. The prerequisite for being in the top 10 from college basketball on has lowered a bit. But this isn't Derrick Rose coming out of Memphis, but it's been, I guess it's been a pretty good tournament. Still kind of chalky. I think this is just where we're at now.
Yeah.
With college basketball, but fun. It was fun watch most of the game. I do have a 7-year-old I have to take care of every other weekend. But he liked even watching. He liked watching.
Yeah, no, it's a fun tournament. It was a fun environment. Look, I obviously with Aubrey going to Iowa now, and my video producer on BetMGM tonight is an Iowa grad.
No, she was in for Iowa yet, but
yeah, by proxy, we're rooting for Iowa. And then there's Illinois is just. I mean, look, they're all right. They're not a very fun team to watch. They really aren't. They're kind of they play boring basketball.
Midwest. So, it's Midwest.
Yeah.
Late 90s basketball.
And then I was rooting for Trey Kaufman-Renn and Purdue, and they looked good in the first half. I mean, Trey Kaufman-Renn only played 9 minutes in the first half, and they were winning the game at halftime, and Arizona just came out and just stomped a mud hole in them in the second half. I mean, it turned out to not even be a close game. Today, look, I mean, we went from a possibility when we went into the Sweet 16 of maybe having four Big Ten teams in the Final Four.
Yeah.
We now have a possibility that we could very possibly only have one, and that would be Illinois. Tennessee plays Michigan today, and UConn plays Duke. So Michigan is the last hope to at least get 2 Big Ten teams into the Final Four. I think Michigan gets it done. I think Michigan might be one of the better teams in the country still left. I have Duke, Arizona in my championship game in my bracket, so I'm rooting for that now. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It should be fun. Today should be fun. I got to be honest with you, though. I won't be watching a lick of it. It's baseball season.
True.
I have no rooting interest anymore. My bracket's already like I still have my championship game alive, but my bracket's toast. I'm in like 23rd place. I could care less now about the college tournament.
I am the kind of guy where, the Bears are playing the Jaguars in September and I'm watching the White Sox play, even if the Sox have lost 80 something games. I mean,
Which
I just
might be
think
possible again.
baseball is always interesting to me. There's always something to watch, especially this year with the White Sox. In September, we're going to have a lot of call-ups. But yeah, I'm not going to watch a whole lot. It was fun to watch, though, some basketball last night. They do play. Yeah, Illinois does play kind of a boring game. It's going to be interesting. I mean, that would be great if you got Illinois and Michigan in the national championship. I think that would be an interesting, just because Michigan can score in bunches.
Yeah,
I
think
mean,
Michigan
they could really score. Yeah, and
I think Arizona would roll them too. I mean, if they get past Duke, I don't think they stand a chance in the title game.
You've got to, if you're Illinois, you've got to keep a team under 65 or something. And I don't know if they can do that, or under 70 at least. I mean, I know they scored 100 against Penn to open up the tournament, but they're not going to score that many points a lot. But this is like I always tell you about basketball. I mean, Illinois does play an old school type brand of basketball. That's what basketball you had in the late 90s to mid 90s to early 90s to 80 maybe. I mean, you had the fast break in LA. You did have some interesting things starting to happen in basketball. That's why I'm sorry if you watch older games of basketball. I'm sorry, they're more boring than basketball nowadays. I know we have all these star players are out, but the offenses are a lot more wide open. There's
because
a
nobody
lot
plays
more
defense.
things
happening. Nobody plays defense anymore. I mean, that's the thing. It's all about the three-pointer. Everybody's jacking up threes here and there, and then you got teams like Michigan who will take 35 threes in a game and hit 31 of them. Like,
yeah, I get that there's sometimes no defense being played. The team that won
sometimes.
The team that won the championship last year was the best defensive team in the league, though.
I think sometimes teams play defense. Not sometimes there's no defense. Sometimes there is defense in the league, especially in the. I mean, if you go to the NBA, there's way more defense in college ball. I mean, Houston's predicated off of their defense. That's why Houston was able to get to where they were. That's why Houston was a favorite to go to the national championship. But in the NBA, I mean, come on. I mean, I watched a game the other night. It was 151 to 135. This isn't the All-Star game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying some of that is because of the defense. Some of that is because of how they're playing offensively. I think it's a better brand of offense. I really do. It's definitely more efficient. If you had these guys playing, I mean, you can name the defense back in the day. They would have to teams back in the early 90s, the golden age of basketball.
I'd say it back in my day.
Back in my day, if you had these teams playing defense, I don't care what team you want to talk about. You can talk about the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley. You can talk about the Knicks. You can talk about the Bulls. All those teams are going to be playing offense the way they're playing today. All those teams are. And all those teams are sitting some of their players. Michael Jordan's not playing 82 games a season, guys. Sorry. He's not, because he's not going to be as fresh. Wow. Okay, I actually like this one. I feel like I'm really strong in this one. I can't believe you couldn't find a picture of me with a beard. I mean, you're putting bull horns on my head. Jesus Christ.
You look like Mel Gibson.
Yes.
Playing
Braveheart?
one of those Minotaurs.
What will you do without freedom? Freedom.
That might be Doubting Thomas's best one. I don't think he has time to do anything else in his life, but that is one of his best monikers. The new moniker every week
William
is
Walrus.
Wild.
I am William Walrus. I am a Wallace. I am William Wallace. No. Freedom!
That's a good one. Anyway,
Major birthday.
Yeah, thank you. We so look, let's get into the baseball side of things, right? Like you watch the White Sox so far. Let's start there. Murakami has been as advertised. He's been very good through the first 2 games. Couple of home runs.
Great play at first.
Yeah, but they're playing a tough Milwaukee team. This Milwaukee team is tough. I still think they're taking a step back, but they've got a good lineup, and their lineup right now is way better. I don't know what lineup the White Sox rolled out there yesterday, but I think I could name 4 of their players.
That's what
it was
Megan
interesting.
TV told me. Like I'll throw out a pick to click on one of my text chains, and she's like, I don't know any of these players. It's like, you don't know Colson Montgomery is? You're Irish.
Yeah, you know Colson Montgomery, and you know Murakami.
He's one of the few young Irish players in the league.
You know Mydroth. But beyond that, I mean, they ran out a guy who I thought, like you would have said, was made up. Like he was a made up PlayStation character.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the lineup from yesterday right now.
Pereira in right field. He won't be playing right field at the end of the season. I don't think you're going to see Travis Peters. He ain't going to be in center.
Travis Peters is a made-up name.
Not going to be in
real
center
person.
to start to see. Interesting player, minor league player. Got his first hit yesterday in a major league uniform. You like to see that. 26 years old. Like you like
he's
to see
not real.
play. Yeah, he's probably not real. Probably doesn't exist. Playing center field. He's not going to be playing center field later. They do like the defensive setup, which I think is interesting, which is something we could talk about, of Luis Angel Hair Pasta Cunha, who I call him. Travis Peters is a good porn name. I will agree with that. It's a very good porn name.
Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, Travis Peters is not going to be in center. Shane Smith is a good 4th or 5th pitcher on a really good team. He's not your starting pitcher to start the season. Neither is, Boyd for the Cubs. This is going to be a team for sure. I don't know about the Cubs. This team, at least historically that we've seen at the Cubs, who has a lot of the same players, are actually a good first half team. But I don't know about this year. This year might be a little different for the Cubs. But for the Sox, they're just not going to be a good first half team this year. It's not going to happen. These guys aren't going to be there. It's obvious the coaching staff doesn't know how to use some of these players.
We're only 2 games in, right?
Yeah.
Let's not hit the panic button just yet. If you're a White Sox fan,
not at all.
You don't expect this team to be a playoff contender. You expect this team to, and I thought maybe this team would be a first half team. I thought this team would get out to a hot start maybe, and be one of those teams where people like at the end of April are like, are the White Sox going to be a playoff team? You know what I mean? That's the type of start I thought that they could have.
It could be. That
it doesn't shock me that they haven't got off to that yet, because I mean, Milwaukee is, look, they're still a good team. I still think that they take a step back, but this White Sox team, man, to start the season, they have so they've got Milwaukee, then they get Miami, Toronto, Baltimore, Kansas City, who are all teams that could fight for a playoff spot. Like, I think Miami is going to be vastly improved this year. I like that. I like the Miami's rotation, and I like Miami's lineup.
You know who I think is going to be vastly improved? And sorry to cut you off, but I have to do this since Doubting Thomas is watching the show still, because he'll fade around the 30-minute mark. The Mets, I think, are going to be vastly improved.
And Robert lines one, deep left center field. Back goes Reynolds to the warning track, looks up, and it's out of here! Luis Robert Jr. with a walk-off 3-run homer at the bottom of the 11th. Wow. And the Mets pull it out to go to 2-0.
Looking good in a Mets
Thanks,
uniform,
Cubs.
Downing.
Oh, wait, that was the White Sox. Thanks, White Sox.
There you go, Downing
it was
Thomas.
funny.
What you got now on Luis Robert? 3 games into the season.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we had on BetMGM tonight. We were able.
He'll be hurt by the end of April running to first.
Oh man.
But have fun with him now, Mats. He might give you 5 or 6 or 8 home runs in April, but I don't know. I don't know after that.
I'm surprised he didn't pull something running around bases. Look, we had Jason Benetti on last week on BetMGM tonight. And so when I called him up and I talked to him for a second before we brought him into the show, I was like, I said, "Hey, Jason, thanks for joining the show." I said, "I really appreciate it." I said, "I actually like your work even as a Cubs fan." And he laughs a little bit. And I said, I said, "Except for one time," I said, "you really hurt my feelings with the thanks Cubs." And he laughed his ass off. He's like, "Yeah," he's like, "but you know what? That might be my favorite call of all time." It was
that is a pretty cool call. And
it was so good. It really was. I mean, look, I hated it as a Cubs fan. But it's just Jason Benetti's so damn good at what he does. Every sport that he calls. He was calling games for Westwood One for the tournament, which is why we had him on. And you know, he is one of those guys who is very thoughtful, who is very, very passionate. And the best answer that he gave us was about the underdog. And he's like, and for those people that don't want to see, you know, underdogs go into the playoffs, underdogs go into the tournaments, underdogs win this and underdogs win that. Like, he is very passionate about that. I think it goes to because of a lot of things that he's gone through in his life. Jason Benetti is one of those guys that has overcome quite a bit to get to where he's at. Yeah. And he is amazing, man. He is a really good play-by-play guy. I'm going to enjoy listening to him on Sunday Night Baseball tonight on NBC.
Heck yeah, he's doing it all year, you know,
yeah.
and it was kind of almost like was one of the reasons why he left the White Sox, which I still can't believe they let him go. But you know, for me, and this might go back into my next point, I like the color guys better, especially in baseball. And I want to pull it back. And you talked about that. Thanks, Cubs. That was the Eloy Jimenez home run, who I always thought was going to be terrific because he could hit a pitcher's best pitch with authority. And I mean, he could hit really good pitching, and not a lot of players can do that. Obviously, even the greatest players are mistake hitters. I mean, they can really take advantage when the pitcher makes a mistake. And almost every at bat, a pitcher's probably going to make one pitch that's a mistake. You know, some of the better pitchers, it's tougher to find one of those pitches in an entire game. But when Steve Stone was talking about Mooney, that's what they're calling him, Murakami, he was saying he's going to be a mistake hitter. Most players are, or almost all players are.
Yeah.
But I like to read between the lines with that. Because Steve Stone is a very smart color guy. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus Renard, McCollum.
My guy.
Well, Marcus. The name, too.
What's going on, brother?
Yeesh.
I went to Illinois Media School at Marcus.
All right.
We did our it was the first show that I did at the radio station there. It was me and Marcus. Good dude. Love working with him. He's part of the Prime Coverage Sports Network, executive over there, which we are a part of now. So
all right.
Let's definitely check out his stuff as well.
I will. I'll comment on it aggressively. Anyway, Steve Stone, the challenges are amazing. Best new role. I'll get to that in a second.
Yes, we will.
But anyway, Murakami, he sort of says it with that to me is not a gold star from Steve Stone for me.
Yeah.
Usually when a player comes over, and I remember when Jose Abreu came in, almost the same age as Murakami is now, almost a very similar player, except for he's a right-handed first baseman instead of left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a left-handed sport. That's why I say it. He was the Jose Abreu right away. this guy's going to be a great player. This guy's going to hit a ton. This guy's going to hit a ton of home runs, all that. And he got MVP points his first year. He won Rookie of the Year with the White Sox. He was 26 when it came out. I think Murakami's 25. I just like to read in between the lines with these guys. I don't know. My worry for Murakami, he was going to strike out a lot. He's going to be a 3 outcome player. Looks like he's going to walk a lot. He looks very patient.
He's going to be Schwarber.
And I'm worried that there's going to be I'm just worried that pitching is going to adjust to him very, very quickly. And he's going to have to adjust back to pitching. But that home run he hit up off Patrick yesterday on a low fastball. That's pretty. I mean, that's where a left-handed hitter wants it, but that's something that's showing me a little bit of something. But at the same time, I don't know. I think Steve Stone's telling us something different. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I think that when you look at Murakami, here's the difference between Murakami and the rest of the rookies in Major League Baseball. Murakami's got 6 years of professional experience coming into today. I mean, he's been playing 6 years in Japan before he came here this year. So he's got professional experience. He knows how to adjust. He knows how to hit good pitching. I mean, look, we talk all you want about, it's Japan, it's not the major leagues. We go into the World Baseball Classic. Who's a team every year that somebody thinks can win it?
There's some players over there.
Yeah. And so, you look at Murakami. I mean, he faced Yamamoto. He faced Imai. He faced Shota in Japan.
Yep.
Like, these are all pitchers that he was going up against who were the top pitchers of their class coming over from Japan.
And they played well in the majors. I mean, even Shota, who we're going to talk about, I believe, in a little bit, who's starting today, has still been a very accomplished major league pitcher. You can't say he hasn't.
Yeah. And so I think that's where he's got a leg up on everybody. And I think he will adjust just fine. I think Murakami is going to be a beast. I think, you say you're worried about the strikeouts. I brought up Schwarber. I think he's Kyle Schwarber that could hit for a better average. I think he's Kyle Schwarber who can hit 260, 270 and hit you 35 to 40 home runs a year. He's just that guy.
That would be
I think the White Sox got a steal in this kid. And I think he's going to be fun to watch on the South Side for quite a few years now. And I think this whole core is going to be fun. We were talking about this week, that the White Sox, what's going on the South Side, like, they are a team who in a few years can be something. We had Cody Decker on this week, who's a former Major League Baseball player. He said the same thing.
Cody Decker is terrific.
I love Cody Decker. Good dude, good friend. I produced his show last year. And he's just, I mean, he's hilarious, but he's the dude just knows ball.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, look, there's a team in Chicago that you're going to have to watch out for in 2 or 3 years of being that team. And it's the Chicago White Sox.
And you have to say 2 or 3 years because they're probably not playing baseball next year.
Probably not playing next year. Yes. And he said, even if they were, his words were, even if they were playing next year, they're probably that team that takes that next step, but isn't quite there just yet.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think Murakami's going to be fun to watch. I think Chase Mydroth, his opening day home run.
He looks ready.
He
looks like he's starting.
He might be the first second baseman that starts multiple opening days for the White Sox in 15 years or something.
He looks like he looks like he is ready for prime time, like aggressive out there. And and he was last year. It's not like he wasn't last year. But if you get Chase Mydroth, and Kyle Teal looks like he's going to be great. That's sort of why the Sox lineup. You have Colson Montgomery not hitting. You have Kyle Teal out of the lineup. This lineup is just not going to be as good. They're probably the two best. I wouldn't say hitters, but consequential hitters on the team. They're going to generate probably the most part. Japan League is no joke anymore. Dude hit 50 home runs over there. Yeah, I mean, he did. And the one thing that they're going to say about every Japanese hitter that comes out is they can't hit the fastball. This guy seems to be able to hit the fastball.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, he probably does strike out 140 to 150 times a year. I'm not saying that he's not going to strike out, but when he's not striking out, I mean, you get 500 at bats in a season. So when he's not striking out, and even if he's not hitting the ball over the fence, this is a guy that's going to hit gaps. This is a guy that's going to hit singles. He's going to walk a ton too because of all the home runs that he hits. Pitchers are going to avoid his bat sometimes. So I think that you're going to get a Murakami that can hit 260, 270, and his on-base percentage can be probably well over 300.
Man, that would be something. That would be rookie of the year if he hits 30 home runs with that too. Being a left-handed hitter, it's harder at first base, but he looks like the bully jock in every big school movie.
Unreal. But no, look, I'm not overly concerned about the White Sox just because there's no expectations for the White Sox. You know, I think the expectations this year are to get, under 100 losses. I think is the expectation. I still think that that's a realistic possibility for this team. The longer that they play, the more they gel, they're going to come together. They're going to figure some things out. They're going to have their runs of winning 7 of 10 or 8 of 10
they're
as
a
opposed
much
to
better team to start the
Yeah.
season this season than they were last season.
You're
They
not going to
are-
see the 10-game losing streaks with this team. I don't believe.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, but since
Yeah.
you said it, it's probably going to happen.
Well, I mean, to start the season, it could be tough because, I mean, like I said, you got Milwaukee. Hopefully they find a way to win today with Sproat on the mound. Let's see how well Sproat is. Or not Sproat, K.
Anthony
Sproat's
K,
pitching
yeah,
for
who looked good in spring training.
Yeah.
Anthony K threw a lot of strikes, left-handed pitcher.
Yep.
Could be good against this lineup. It's a tough Milwaukee lineup. I don't think Milwaukee's going to have trouble, scoring runs. I think their trouble is going to be covering that 700-800 innings that we talked about with the Cubs and Sox last week.
So they also don't have a day off until Friday is their next day off. So they've got today against Milwaukee. Then tomorrow, after the game against Milwaukee, they fly to Miami. Then they've got Miami for 3. Thursday is the game you're going to want to watch against Toronto because Dylan Cease is on the bump for the Blue Jays.
Oh boy.
So that for me this week, going into what they have coming up, that series against Toronto is going to be fun. And that for you got Burke against Cease that day is the scheduled pitching matchup. That's going to be a fun one. That's going to be one I'm going to have my eye on. That's going to be one that I want to watch and see how they do, especially with the off day on Friday. So you get Thursday, Saturday, Sunday with that series, that weird early season schedule where you have an off day in the series.
Because they need off days at the beginning of this season.
Yeah. As opposed to just having that Thursday off and starting the series on Friday. You play Thursday and then have Friday off and then play Saturday, Sunday. It just doesn't make sense. But it is here in Chicago. So that might help. Dylan Cease on the bump.
What do you have? 13 strikeouts the other night?
This is his first time on the bump against the White Sox, correct? I don't think he pitched against the White Sox last year. And even if he did, I definitely know for a fact it's his first time pitching in Chicago against the White Sox.
Yeah.
So
I think so. And I think he had 13 strikeouts to start the season. It might be 11. Sean Burke. I mean, I know he had a rough game yesterday. There was a couple of weak hit balls that got through. A ball landed almost right in front of Andrew Benintendi in left field. I don't know what's going on there. But he's still, I mean, Sean Burke's an interesting pitcher because he can throw some strikeouts.
Yeah.
He's got good breaking stuff. His fastball's there. That's an interesting pitcher, and that should be an interesting game. He had a lot of strikeouts at the end of the year last year. And his last start was 11 strikeout game against I think the Nationals, but still.
The atmosphere that day should be really good too, because that's the White Sox home opener.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there should be plenty of people in the stands. I mean, calling all White Sox fans. I mean, if you're going to go to a game this year, Dylan Cease on the bump. I mean, come on. Like, if you don't have a reason to go to that game and it's the home opener,
yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be an empty seat in the house that day.
lot of White Sox pitching on other teams. A lot of really, really good White Sox pitching on other teams.
Got
Crochet in Boston. You got Sale, who's a year removed from winning a Cy Young on the Braves. I mean, you got Rodon, who, didn't have a great year with the Yankees, but he could still throw, man. You got a lot of good starting White Sox, very expensive White Sox pitching out there. You could fill out a starting rotation.
Well, I think that's the key word as to why they're on other teams. Very expensive.
Yeah, true.
And the White Sox, they just don't, at least right now, they don't spend that money. But this HBA thing looks like it's going to be good. It looks like they're going to spend money, and I think they're headed in the right direction. I mean, they're the homegrown players that they have right now look really good. They went out and spent money on Murakami. The pitching staff looks decent right now at the top half of the rotation.
He bought a plot of land.
Money in a year or two, and this team could be a team that just starts going crazy. And hopefully at that same time, hopefully the Cubs are still good, and we have two really good baseball teams in Chicago, and the Cubs worked towards that this week. They really did. I mean, that the extension for PCA was a steal for Pete Crow Armstrong. 6 years, $115 million for a guy who was 30-30 last year. And even if he doesn't return to that form, even if he doesn't go 30-30 again, $115 million, $18 million a year for a guy that even if he hits 10 to 15 home runs, $18 million a year for a guy like that who plays plus center field. I mean, just his defense alone is a 4.5 WAR every year. The guy had 4 elite catches last year, according to Fangraphs. Since they've been tracking it, he had 19 gold star catches, which is the most by any outfielder ever. And not only that, he also had a catch that had a 0% chance of being caught last year. Figure that out. Off of the bat, StatCast had a 0% chance of it being caught. And PCA made the grab.
The math is not mathing. It could be. It could be the Scottie Pippen 1991 contract where when Scottie Pippen signed, Jerry Reinsdorf told him, "You're gonna hate this contract by the end of it." I mean, he could hate it, and you did mention, it'll just be 31. He could sign another contract. I don't know if we're playing that baseball anymore.
Well, the reason why you would hate it is because of the way they structured it. So I don't know if you've seen the way that they structured it, but the final 2 years of the contract is when he's making the most money. That year 30 season, he'll be making $30 million that year. So that might be why you hate it, but that also might be why you restructure it in the 4th year. If he exceeds expectations, you can go ahead and extend him again in that 4th year and just have him be a Cub his entire career and be a great story.
Or people you're not good anymore and you could trade him.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
he underperforms. Maybe you get him on a Luis Robert type trade.
Or your team just sucks and you have to trade. And okay, we'll trade him.
I mean, that's your hope.
Pretty good contract.
That's your hope.
Baseball's a tough sport, buddy. I mean, you could suck pretty fast. What happened after the 16 World Series? I mean, it's
after the 16 World Series, they went back to the NL.
Yeah, okay, those teams were not good. Okay, you want to get into this conversation?
They went back to the NLCS.
The 2020 team.
What did the White Sox do in 06?
Was terrible.
What did the White Sox do in 06?
They were in the playoffs in 08.
Did they go to the ALCS?
They won 90 games in 06.
Did they go to the ALCS?
There was a wild card. If there was
a wild card. Have they been back to the ALCS since they won the World Series?
Am I going to be able to talk, or are you just going to yell?
I'm just going to yell.
They won 90 games in 06. If there was a wild card, which really is the only way the Cubs make the playoffs, I'm sorry. The only way the Cubs make the playoffs in the last 10 years. If there was a wild card, Sox are in the playoffs when they won 90 games in 06. Asked and answered. Can we move on here? I don't want the Cubs to suck. I don't want any of the Chicago teams to suck, because that seemingly is what we talk about so much. I mean, we can't talk about the rest of the nation, but we talk about Chicago sports. I'd like the Cubs to be good.
Cubs won the division
Baseball,
in 2017, by the way.
Very, very hard sport.
Yeah. But
Okay.
no, it is.
Yeah,
it
that
is.
was a
And
great
it was a
team.
good
That
extension
team was
for
just
the
a
Cubs.
fucking juggernaut. All those players got traded away and sucked, except for Kyle Schwarber, who they let go, and now is a terrific player.
Because the front office did a terrible job of filling in holes, of helping that squad.
Hey, they gave Jason
realize their
Hayward
potential.
a lot of money.
Yeah, no, they
The hole.
yeah,
Right.
no, I mean, you could go back and forth all day long about that team. This extension here for the Cubs with PCA was a good extension for both sides, I believe.
Yeah,
Because
I think
one,
so.
you get PCA cheaper than you would if you let this thing drag out into arbitration a couple more years and do that thing, and then it gets ugly, and maybe you don't get PCA back after 2028. It's a good extension for both sides. And then the Cubs afterwards go and extend Nico Horner, who was the talk of being traded this offseason when they went out and got Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, what do you do with Matt Shaw? Is Nico get traded and Matt Shaw moves to second? All this other stuff. And now Nico's a Cub for another 6 years at $141 million. I think that the Cubs have done. Look, I give Jed a lot of flack for having the smallest GM balls in baseball. And for not going out to make the big moves whenever he needs to make the big moves. These were two really good signings for Jed, and I think he's done a good job of making sure that the foundation over the next 5 to 6 years is set. And the faces of your team right now are Alex Bregman, PCA, and Nico Horner. And that's a good foundation to have. You've got Nico Horner, who's probably the best contact guy, one of the best contact guys in all of baseball. You've got PCA, who's got 30-30 potential. And you've got Alex Bregman, who's a bona fide superstar. And PCA has quickly become the face of the Chicago Cubs. He's the guy that look, the city loves him. They love PCA. PCA was at the Michigan game the other night, sitting at the United Center on Thursday night, watching the game. Looked like an out of work painter. He had a hoodie on with that had paint stains on the damn hoodie. Guy just made $115 million. You can't go buy a shirt without paint on it.
Now stop hugging your prospect and get an impact player at the deadline. Yeah, it's probably going to do that.
Yep, and that's what I was going to get to is, are the Cubs a team now that if they don't make that big move at the deadline, if they don't go out and get that top starter, whether it is Tarek Skubal, whether it is somebody else that is going to be out there at the deadline, if they don't come down with that, what are they doing? Jed has to make that move. He has to get out of that smallest GM balls in baseball mode, and he has to make that move.
We're building for 2035.
You shut your fucking mouth.
I mean, it was said by the assistant GM.
I know.
I mean, I'm sorry. Why would you say that as a GM? It's beyond me. Who is building for 2035? Who?
Well, he didn't say we're building. He said we have to take into account 2035 as much as we take into account 2025.
Taking an account of 9 years from now.
It's
freaking
stupid.
Weirdo. What is that? No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that he tries to be too cute. And that's the problem. That's been the problem with Jed Hoyer.
Thank you, Megan. I appreciate you.
We already said happy birthday. It's over. Can we move on?
Megan, this is Megan's first time saying happy birthday. But I think it's more about you being nicer to me today.
Okay.
Speaking of Megan had a good comment earlier. That the challenges are amazing.
Oh yeah, we
never even got.
We're talking about the Cubs, so yeah, go on.
I want to show something here that I saw today, and I retweeted it out about the ABS. And look, the ABS is going to be fantastic. One is going to expose a lot of these Major League Baseball umpires, especially yesterday with CB Buckner, who since Angel Hernandez has retired is one of the worst umpires behind the plate.
Wagner's pretty bad. He was pretty bad yesterday.
I kind of wish Angel Hernandez was back for this, because I would love to see Angel Hernandez with the ABS system. But I tweeted this out yesterday, and I want to show it right now.
The tweet?
Go ahead and. So this was Boston and Cincinnati, and this was the atmosphere yesterday.
Got a look at challenge. Immediate tap of the helmet. The Reds runners all hold. Batters challenging the pitch. ABS powered by T-Mobile. That's out of the zone. The AB continues.
Yeah.
Now, he gets another one here,
ABS could be a lot of fun.
and he's going to challenge it again. And this is Cincinnati.
It's amazing how minuscule the misses are, but these guys.
Listen to this crowd in Cincinnati on March 28th.
Great feel for that strike zone.
They're going to be a good team, man.
I know.
3 end of inning. Now the 2-2. Called strike 3. Tap the helmet again.
2 straight, CB. You suck.
Batters challenging the pitch. Here we go. Outside.
Way outside.
Loudest cheers of the game. The Reds have hit 2 homers. Come on, back-to-back challenges.
Over an inch. That looked even more than that. The ball's tailing too, and both examples, the ball is tailing out of the zone.
Yes.
You know, there is the zone is not just flat like they show it. The zone is a 3D box of a zone, and it's tailing out of the zone as well. It's just like, oh man.
Well, we've had some other umpires that some of them are no longer in the game that say that this is going to be bad for baseball, that nobody likes to be embarrassed. But I think this is baseball's way of telling you, hey, we don't trust your strike zone. We've seen too many of these things change outcomes of games to have this happen. Now, I would say that you could argue that this is also baseball telling you, hey, we have the technology to just have automated strike zones and have every ball and strike called by computers. But T-Mobile pays us so that we can do an ABS system.
Well,
so
and also, I mean, it didn't seem to affect the speed of the game, but how is the speed of the game going to be if if that thing goes off in the umpire's ear? How is that going to work? But you have to live in the world you're living in. You have to, I mean, we have so much trouble living in the world we're living in now. Just live in the now baseball.
If you can
cannot have these other sports doing this and then have a call like that, like the last call, or even the call before that. They're both falling out of the zone as well as being out of the zone when they start through the zone and then fall out of the zone. You can't have both of those calls happen with the bases loaded, with 2 teams that are probably both going to the playoffs. You cannot keep doing that. Not even in April. You can't have that in September. You can't have that in the playoffs. Like, you can't do this anymore. When other sports are doing all of what they're doing, you just can't do that anymore on a strikeout rule. You have to do this. I'm sorry. You can come up with whatever philosophy you want, that the umpires are part of the game and everybody deals with the same strikeout. Like, yeah, one team's going to be on the raw end of that deal anyway, but whatever. You can construct anything you want. We live in this world now. You should have done this a decade ago. End of story. You should have done this a decade ago. It's not good for the marketing of your league. Sorry. I still don't I don't like some of the rule changes. If you should be able to move your players around any way you want, hit better left-handed hitters. I mean, are you serious? You should be able to put your players wherever you want. You should be able to go to first base as much as you want. I like the pitch clock. I like this rule. Sorry.
No, I like the rule too. My thing is, if you can get 100% of the calls right, why aren't we getting 100% of the calls right? You know what I mean? That's why I think like the automated zones, the automated strike zone, and taking the umpire. Look, there's still going to be an umpire behind home plate. We still need safe and out calls, which should also be all challengeable. Every call on the field should be challengeable. I don't care what people say. Oh, it'll affect the speed of the game. Stop. The goal is to get the call right. I don't get the call. CB Buckner made another call that caused the Red Sox Alex Cora to get ejected because he calls a check swing on Trevor Story, where Trevor Story, the ball never even, the bat, it leaves his shoulder, but that's about as far as it goes. He calls a swing, check down to first, CB. This should be automatic. There's no reason why a home plate umpire should be calling the swing.
But that's on Major League Baseball more than CB Buckner, as I've said. As I put on your Facebook post yesterday, and then you said we should get a podcast, and I said at least a fake podcast we should get, which we have a very good fake podcast that we're doing right now. But is that there is no rule. There is no written rule for a check swing, for what a check swing is and what a check swing is. That's a check swing and not a swing, or a check swing and a swing in baseball. There is no written rule for it. It is completely subjective to the umpire. We can argue about it all we want, and I agree that was not a strike. That's a terrible and a good player. I like Trevor Story a lot. I think the Sox should have got him a few years ago, but they passed up on him. Anyway, maybe they would have had a second baseman. But anyway, there's no written rule for. I still can't believe that the bat goes.
There is a written rule though.
There's no written rule for it. You can go ahead and look up whatever you want to look up. There's no written rule. There is not. There has never been. There's been players and analysts screaming about it for years.
Yeah, it's not formally defined in the rule book.
It's not. It's subjective to the umpire. Yeah. So CB Buckner actually can. Yes. Does it offend you? Yes. But can he do it? Yes, he can do it. And that's a problem with Major League Baseball. That's another reason why make it subjective. That's another baseball thing. Into the future. Come into the future, baseball. Come on. Let's go. I'll drag you kicking and screaming, Rob Manfred, who doesn't even really like baseball. It's not that he's a businessman, whatever.
Even if you keep it subjective, though, and just make the rules so that it's not the home plate umpire's call. It's not it cannot be the whole. You are sitting there especially CB Buckner, who we just saw twice in a row, can't even call a strike in a ball. Concentrate on whether or not the ball's in the zone and stop worrying about the bat. Check down to first or third.
Depending on whether you're a left-hander or right-hander, first or third base. And and it's got to go past the home plate. You got to break home plate. Or you could say you got to break where the player is, passing a certain degree of where his bat is. You see it. When you see it, you know it. You obviously do. But that's a rule that has to be written. And I'm someone who in football who's like, a catch is a catch. Like, we're breaking down catches, like in the minutia of catches. That's sometimes the problem with the NFL. But you don't have to do that with a check swing. A check swing could be passed. No, it's for almost, when I first heard about it like 20 years ago, the fact that there isn't a written rule about this is another reason why baseball, come on, come in. You can't just completely ignore the rest of the sporting world. You can't do that anymore, baseball. And you have been doing it for way too long and saying that, this is why we're baseball. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're baseball. We're a different sport. We're unique. No, that's not how this works.
Yeah. And these things have to be challengeable too. You change the outcome of a game. Trevor Story, one of Red Sox best hitters, and you taking that bat away from him because you call a swing when clearly you can't concentrate on whether or not the ball's in the zone in the first place without a swing. And now you're telling me you're concentrating on that and being able to tell whether or not a guy swung when he clearly didn't swing. This is why this stuff has to be taken out of the umpire's hands. And I've been calling for this for 15 plus years. You've got to take the strike zones away, and you've got to take the check swings away from home plate umpires.
Umps will probably get better after getting embarrassed in real time. Yeah. Now they're accountable. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Baseball umps more than any other sport are not as accountable. Now, NFL refs are the same way. These bad umps are out there acting like wrestling heels. There's no way they're actually that bad without being self-aware. It's sort of like a wrestling ref. You know more about this than I do, but I remember wrestling refs from back in the day.
Well, did you hear the umpire? I think it was like the last day of spring training, and he accidentally left his mic on, and he calls a pitch, and they challenge it, and he has his mic on, and he goes to the catcher as they're doing the challenge. He's like, "Oh God, please be a strike, please be a strike." Like,
Wow. I saw that.
I mean, like, it's one of those things. Like, you can't, like, I get it, I understand, like, but this isn't little league. This isn't high school baseball. It's not even college.
No.
You
There's
have
a
to in these games. You have to get these calls right, and you
there's
have
a
the technology to do so. So
there's a
do it.
great scene, and I played it actually on here. I think a few years ago during a Fitz gibberish, or I just played it. I think it was a Fitz gibberish, and it's in Ted Lasso, which I'm sure you haven't watched yet, but I did tell you to watch it.
I have not.
Which it's an American coach who knows nothing about soccer coaching an English team. But anyway, his philosophy is I don't care about wins and losses. Like I just care about the people, the players, all that. And his assistant coach goes just ballistic on him and says, look, this is professional soccer. This matters to people with money and all this. Like wins and losses matter, dude. Shut up. And that's what somebody has to say to baseball. Yeah, you have this kitschy baseball thing. The thing is we could be over this already.
Yeah.
We could have been over this 10 years ago. I mean, they tried it out in the minors like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's been pretty prevalent there for a few years anyway. I know they've actually been actively using it. And here's the thing.
Could have done it a decade ago. We could be over this and moved on already.
But they've gotten so good at it in the minor leagues that last year it was only used in 60% of minor league games. So there are plenty of games where an umpire doesn't even have a challenge called against them. And I think that this holds you accountable to your zone.
Yeah.
And it makes you get better at knowing your zone. And I think it's what it's going to do is it's going to force guys like CB Buckner from being behind the plate. And that's what needs to happen. I've been saying this there needs to be punitive action for these umpires that have a zone where they are less than 90% at getting accurate. There just has to be. Even if you just let them make calls out in the field, fine. But they should not be behind the plate. CB Buckner should not be behind the plate. Angel Hernandez should not have been behind the plate. Joe West, after a certain time, should not have been behind the plate.
No.
And those are the things that baseball has to do. And I think there's too much power within the unions to ever get that to happen. But you have to do something. I can't do my job and be that bad at my job and keep my job.
No.
So why are these guys allowed to do it?
I also think it's a very hard job to fill. It's got to be a very hard job to fill. Like who really wants, and what kind of person wants to be an umpire? I mean, this is probably a person. This could be a person. I'm not saying all umpires are like this, but I'm sure they skew a little bit to the kid that was picked on in school and now that wants and now is hungry for some kind of power. And now he's finally got power over these jocks. There is a lot of umps are ex baseball players, so it's not all of them. But
well,
maybe
I also
some
think
of them
it's a lot of guys who love the game, who know the rules, who just were never talented enough to be a player. You know what I mean? It'd be like a guy like me. Like I would love to be a Major League Baseball umpire because I know the rules. I love the game, and I would get to travel and be at the games and be on the fields. But at the same time, like it's because I never had I was never talented enough to be a Major League Baseball player. But I love this game more than I pretty much love anything in this world because it's a different type of love. Like the Major League Baseball has had this hold on me. I think that you will find that as a more vast majority of why guys are umpires than you will find that, the thing I'm sure the thing that you're looking at also the same reason why some guys become cops. Right. So I definitely agree with you there.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yeah. Good point. I can't wait to see the hitters challenge success rates as the season of Luis Robert will not be allowed to challenge by the All-Star break. It could be right. He does have a bad He does have a bad look at the strike zone for a guy who
And we've
walked
seen it.
when he was a rookie. Is weird, but he did hit a 3-run home run in the 11th inning to win
Yeah.
a game. I don't know if you saw that from earlier in the show, Doubting Thomas. Could have been taking
We,
your mid-afternoon nap.
we've seen it be effective to
mid-morning.
already, where Aaron Judge used it effectively, where he had a strike called on him. At the time, it was a 1-0 count, and it moved the count to 2-0. He had a strike called. He challenged it, got it overturned. It was a ball, and then that count ends up going to a 3-2 count, which he would have already struck out. But instead, it's a 3-2 count, and then he hits a home run. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's already affecting the game positively. And there's been plenty of times where, an umpire, they hitter will challenge it, and the umpire's been correct.
Yeah. It happened
what
in
I mean?
Milwaukee. He was out of challenges in the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
I think Doubting Thomas has a point here. I think things in Milwaukee might change after a few games when your baseball players are giving you no challenges by the 3rd inning. I mean, they were up against the Sox. It was a 4-1 game though against the Sox at the time. Could have gone anywhere. You're out of challenges in the 3rd inning after less than 90%. They should get tar and feathered in center field. And
CB Buckner, I wonder what his grade was. I'm gonna look.
I would think the catchers are going to be pretty good at hitting the cap when they know it's a strike for their pitcher. Caro was doing it in the minors.
Salvador Perez was 3 for 3 in an inning the other night.
Yeah, and Caro, I think one minor league spring training game. He had like 2 in an inning and wasn't even close.
CB Buckner in that game, just so you know, Jeremiah, 88% accuracy, overall accuracy for CB Buckner behind the plate, according to umpire scorecards. Overall consistency, 91%. Overall factor, plus a run for Boston.
Oof.
I mean, that stuff can't happen. CB Buckner cannot be behind the plate for a Major League Baseball game, and he's plus a run for Boston. But granted, Boston loses that game 6-5 yesterday.
I think any baseball fan that watches baseball as closely and obsessively as I have has seen one pitch change an entire division race in August, in July.
Yeah.
Just change an entire division race where you get a ball, a pitcher comes out because of that ball. Now you're into your bullpen. You don't want to be in your bullpen. Now your bullpen's taxed for the next game. Then you lose the next game because you're into the bullpen again in the next game. The same guy's pitching 3 days in a row, and it just snowballs on you. And now you lost 2 games to a division rival when you probably might have won 2. And that's a big swing. And you're basically out of the division race. But you'd only have to feather teams.
Oh my God. Divided Podcast. What's going on? Grant, my guy, checking us out on Twitter.
I'm gonna have to see a lot of these podcasts now.
Yeah. Well, I'm somewhat a part of the Divided Podcast. When I have time, I hop on with Grant and my guy Tony Lopez, Tilo, as we like to call him. Really good dudes. Do really good stuff. They call it the Divided Podcast because it's a great name. I don't know why we didn't think of it. One's a Cubs fan, one's a Sox fan. So they're divided. Great name for a podcast, by the way. But yeah, it's when you look at these umpires, man, behind the plate, there are some that just need to not be behind the plate, and I think that's okay. Like I don't understand why you have to have the rotation. If you have a crew, these guys all work in crews. So if you're working in a crew, it's okay to say, hey, CB, you can work first, second, or third, but you're not working behind the plate. Our best guy of every crew should be behind the plate for all 3 games. Just should. Why does it have to change? Do you agree or do you disagree? You think that there should be a rotation in crews in a 3-game series? Or should the best home plate umpire be behind the plate for all 3 games?
I think the best I think you should be. It depends. I've never been an ump but I don't know if there's a certain amount of brain power I'm guessing it takes to a game behind the plate. And maybe that's why they give them those days off and they rotate guys. I don't know. It depends. I think you should have the best team out there. I think you should definitely have the best. And they don't always do that. Raya looks like Vigo from the Ghostbusters painting. I'm guessing she's talking about Ghostbusters 2. Death is but a door. Time is one.
Talking about in Doubting Thomas's profile picture.
Death is but a door. Time is but a window. I will return. Megan TV. It's a Vigo quote from Ghostbusters. I'm glad we got on this topic.
I'm like, I can't believe you're quoting Ghostbusters 2.
I mean, it's a line. Me and my brothers used to yell that line at each other. By the way, let's see.
You and your brothers are nerds. You
This
would
guy,
yell Ghostbusters
this
quotes at each
guy
other? What is
has
going on?
been
I think your
on-
brothers are going to beat you up
this
just for saying that
guy
out loud on TV.
has been on this podcast yelling about how they should have women's basketball, about how women's basketball is fun to watch. And he wants to call me a dork.
Women's basketball is fun to watch.
Combs, you've lost your mind.
It's more fun to watch than Ghostbusters 2, I'll tell you that.
I don't know. By the way, Vigo, I don't know. That's not. I don't. No.
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
I mean, I do have a glaring intensity to me.
Yeah.
People say that, like,
Yeah.
and I'm probably gonna live forever. I mean, I'm pretty certain of that.
Probably.
I mean, that's cosmic.
I mean, unless I kill you, which could probably be a thing. Congratulations on the WNBA, CBA.
Oh, I'm back.
I'm back. You're on your computer.
And I'm going.
The WNBA thing got crazy out of hand, and these players, I don't know how they got it done, but to getting paid what they're about to get paid is kind of crazy to me. And I'm, like you said, I'm a supporter of the WNBA to an extent. I thought that if it were me, if I was the NBA owners, I would have ended the league. I just would have. I mean, it hasn't been profitable until the last 2 years. And now you want more money? What about the first 15 years where I was losing $40 million a year? Like, what are we talking about right now? And now these players are going to get paid what they're going to get paid. Good for them. But I mean, the product better get a lot better. If you're going to do this.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you need women to get behind women's basketball.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
That's what I mean. It's still. I'll keep going back to the Bill Burr joke until something changes. That if women were as supportive of women's basketball as they were of some fat woman who needs to lose weight, if they were that supportive, this league would be good. Even if you had, let's say, 160 million women in the country, if you had 5% of them backing women's basketball, it's 8 million. It's 8 million there.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a rousing success.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I mean, it's been my argument for a long time when I hear women who say, oh, the WNBA should be making more money. The players should be making more money. My first question is, how many WNBA jerseys do you have? How many games have you gone to this year? So if you're not supporting the product itself, how can you say that they deserve more money? Because you don't even support the product.
It sounds like a conversation I've had before.
Yeah, it's tough.
A conversation I've had before, and not even about women's basketball, but it sounds like a conversation before I've had with a woman. It sounds like women's logic. Don't try to understand women. You know who understands women? Women. And they fucking hate each other.
Unreal.
I think it's time we go.
It's time to get it's time for us to go.
Basketball.
Is the producer telling us to wrap it up in the background?
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right.
Wrap it up.
All right. Well, we will wrap it up. We are going to take Easter Sunday off.
What?
I'm assuming that you have some stuff going on with the boy.
I have to pull. There's actually like a large stone that's going to be enclosing me into a tomb, and I actually have to pull that large stone away and then walk out of out of my tomb. Jesus. And then
did you just call yourself God?
Pretty much.
I
just said I was going to live forever about 5 minutes ago. I might as well keep going with this.
This is all right. Well, this is the last episode of Combs and Fitz Windy City Sports Talk, because Fitz is going to get struck by lightning as he leaves his house today.
You froze or I froze.
Yeah, it's probably you, because we're not
lost Combsy.
No, I'm still here.
Wow.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Oh, wow, you're back. I was about to say goodbye.
I never froze on my end.
Well,
I saw both of us.
There was a circle.
I think it's you. I think it's you. I think it's your equipment. I think because I know you sell this equipment.
The Wi-Fi.
But I think you sell shoddy equipment. So
yeah, we'll see on YouTube afterwards.
We'll see. We'll see. All right.
I can't control everything. I'm just saying. Humans.
Oh my God. He's gonna get us all killed. All right, let's get the hell out of here. We will talk to you guys next week. We'll probably be from the Fitz compound together if we don't kill each other before then. Till then, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. See you in a couple weeks.